But let's look at for I looked for Waiting for Godot. I searched it up, and then I was like, yo, I'm gonna live stream this. So um let's search up theater absurdism. Waiting for Godot. Because maybe I think that's really interesting that metatextually these people are doing one of Camus' ways of dealing with the meaninglessness of the universe, which is acting, become an actor. Deal with the meaninglessness of the universe by, finding meaning by being someone else. And that's really interesting to me. So I want to see if I could find anything here. The absurdly absurd. Okay, let's read this. Let's read this online. In what is still the only book on the theater of the absurd. Wait, what? Here's the theater of absurd. Let's check this out. Theater of the absurd. Let's read this online. And often nonsensical goings-ons. Yo, this guy, bro. Just speak normally, man. Like, nobody speaks like that. Like, nonsensical goings-on. Like, just shut up. Seem to go counter to all accepted standards of stage convention. Yeah, I guess that is true. Like, usually in a play, like, you expect stuff to happen, but this is just like nothing happens. So, at the beginning of Ionesco's The Bald Soprano, the clock strikes 17. Yo, clocks do not go up to 17, bro. Yo, I gotta read this stuff. I feel like I gotta read to understand it. Man, I wish I didn't make this project like the very last thing I'm doing. I wish I wasn't such like a stupid teenage boy. Like, we've all been waiting for Godot since day one. Whereas, this was made by Tulane. That's where my parents went to school. What a coincidence. I didn't even realize that they had schools in America. I thought all Americans were just stupid. So perhaps not obvious or in the conventional sense, they also give expression to some of the most basic problems or issues of our age in a uniquely efficient and meaningful manner. Yo, that's so fire, bro. Like, I've been saying this since day one. How many sources do I need? 4 sources. That's too much. Can we not do that? No. Who put the bomb in the bomb banana? Who put the ram in the ram-a-llama ding dong? Yeah. Alright. Let's lock in, guys. It's interesting, but I could be, why am I wasting my time on this English project when I could be doom scrolling through TikTok? I actually don't even mind this English project. I'm just addicted to my phone. Each of them, in fact, has his own roots and sources. The common denominator is that they characterize their works might be, so it's all an element of the absurd. Damn, that's what we were talking about before. Well, can I download this? I want this as a PDF on my computer. It's so fire. I gotta subscribe to download? What? No, I'm not doing that. I'm logging through my library. That's it. What? This is bullshit, bro. This is like 1984 by George Orwell. I have to pay. You know what I'm gonna do? I don't even care. I'm just gonna pirate it. Let's go Sci-Hub. Alright. Thank you, Sci-Hub, for providing me information for free. I actually agree with this guy. And I very rarely agree with people. Thus, the absurd and fantastic goings-on of the theater of absurd will, in the end, be found to reveal the irrationality of the human condition and the illusion of what we thought was its apparent logical structure. It gives us, it's kind of what psychedelics do. Like, they give you, a vantage point. Maybe Godot is LSD. Okay, so I read through these sources, including this one that we found accidentally, but interestingly, this source talks a lot about, biblical allusions, and so that's kind of interesting to me. We found this source accidentally, remember? I was talking about, how it kind of reminded me of psychedelics because, Waiting for Godot is, very alien, and so it's sort of getting a different vantage point, looking at things as if you were an alien almost. And, I found this source, but it just happened to mention drugs. It really has nothing to do with drugs. Okay, so, I do want to search up, though, because it talks about, really interestingly, this idea of, Pascal's wager, which is, this guy Pascal came up with it, and it's, it's best to believe in God, just, because if God doesn't exist, everybody's fine, but if God does exist, you're cooked. And so, he talks about how Waiting for Godot is actually a good counterexample to that, because they waste their lives, waiting for Godot. And so that makes me interested in 2 things. And he uses this, he quotes, what was it? These, virgins and, Matthew. Yeah, the 10 virgins, the parable of, and so this makes me interested in 2 things. One, time. Because, are they really wasting their lives? I don't know. And also I'm very curious about the role of religion in this play. So let's search up Waiting for Godot, religion, and I'll look through this. I'm going to stay on recording and I'll let you know if I have any interesting comments. I probably won't, just because, I don't know. I'm not really, my energy's drained. You're not supposed to use I in an essay. So straight off the bat, this is a horrible source. What is elegiac?
Elegiac.
Elegiac. What does it mean? That's such a weird word, elegiac. define. Elegy, like J.D. Vance. Subject, like AP Literature. He said ass. Okay, so far, I don't really get, but I don't really get an idea of how this fits into the literary canon from this. I mean, it's interesting. Like, it's just like an analysis of religious language, but I don't really get an idea of how it fits into the literary canon. So I probably still will cite this in my research log. All right, let's look at time and see if I can find anything. It seems that the big contribution, it seems, of Waiting for Godot to the literary canon is in the fact that it's a play and it's an absurdist play. And so I really do think that we're only going to find stuff that's useful to this project from like things related to theater. And so let's look at this one, self-performing voices, mind, memory, and time. And then this also talks about time, which is something I'm interested in. Okay, so this is interesting. So basically what he's saying is Aristotle, so Waiting for Godot, where its place in the literary canon is basically like, if you look at Aristotle and poetics, basically, he talks about this idea of like cause and effect. And in drama in general, like Oedipus Rex, whatever, we always have a sense of like causal necessity. Like to have that plot, to have like a beginning, middle, and end, you need a cause and effect relationship, right? And Waiting for Godot is a well-constructed plot, in my opinion, but there's no sense of cause and effect. Like, there's so many non sequiturs. Characters come in and they have like no remembrance of like what happened the day before. There's no sense of time, so how could you have cause and effect? And yet, it's still, in some sense, episodic. And I think that maybe is what I will do my thesis on. But, let's see. I just want to search Waiting for Godot literary canon to see if I could get anything more specific. Staging himself. False innocence. Here, perhaps those enigmatic. Godot is waiting too. Huh. Yeah, for some reason, it's so interesting how influential Plato and Aristotle were, because in like at least half of these sources, Plato and Aristotle and the Bible have been mentioned. I would say in all of them, at least one, Plato, Aristotle, the Bible, or just Christianity have been mentioned. What is teleological? I know telos is like purpose. Purpose that they serve instead of the cause by which they arrive. Yeah, it's telos, it's purpose. Okay, interesting. No communism. AP Lit is a woke indoctrination center. They're trying to indoctrinate us by making us read about Marxism. Many intellectuals feel they have no longer have any place in the technological world. Oh my god, this is written in 1986. I wonder what this guy would have thought of ChatGPT if he's still alive. Or does think of ChatGPT if he still is alive. Okay, so it seems like this isn't really a literary critique so much as it is talking about how at the end of the 20th century, or just in the 20th century in general, there's this feeling, I guess because of World War II and World War I, that something fundamental has ended, and they're at like the end of the road, like post-World War II, right? And like all these intellectuals he's surveying all seem to believe that, but Waiting for Godot does a better job at explaining that and dramatizing that than philosophy does. And that is why it's placed in the literary canon. But it's not really a piece of literary critique. So I still think it's useful. Waiting is what we do most of the time, and very few of us are good at it. Bureaucracies has seized this advantage and made waiting an institutional practice. It's interesting, though. I guess what he means is that Godot was waiting too, because in the 20th century, like, we're at, like, a dead end. It's the fundamental human activity is waiting. But yeah, I guess he's right, like, why would we expect that Godot really, we kind of have this instinctive assumption of when we were waiting for Godot that Godot is somewhere out there and we are literally waiting for him, when in reality, what if Godot is waiting too? Or what if Godot is this sort of like unfinished thing that they are creating, or just like a figment of their imaginations or whatever? I think that's pretty cool.